Yes, sir. So, TCS Podcast, we highlight 3 different style episodes. One is where I'm flipping you guys off.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Welcome to the Top Contractor Podcast, a show that highlights the remarkable individuals who are shaping the construction industry and pushing its boundaries with engaging interviews, expert discussions, and real-world stories of success and challenges. I'm your host, Bill Reiman, your broker builder. I'm here once again with my co-host,
Nate Swinkleton. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Nate Swinkleton. Good morning, everybody. Nate, it's good to be back with you. It's good to be back with you. How's you got a pregnant wife? I got a pregnant wife. How's things going with you on your end?
Oh, crazy as ever. I'm gaining as much weight as she is. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, I mean it's been a little crazy on my end. We're in crunch time on my end, so yeah, she's running around the house trying to make me do every single little thing possible that you can imagine, thinking it needs to get done now before the baby comes. Everything needs to get done now.
I think it does need to get done now.
Everything, the little stuff
I'm gonna have her send me a recording of her yelling at you, because that would be funny.
I was moving wine bottles yesterday and taking out some and putting others in because it needed to get done now before the baby came. So
yeah, well, you're gonna need a lot of wine when that baby comes. So.
That is true. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Well, everybody, thank you all for listening. As always, Nate and I are pleased to be here. And if you guys take the time, you know the routine, take the time, like, share, comment, share it with your friends and family. It goes a long way for Nate and I. This show, obviously, we don't advertise. We're just here to give you guys as much information as possible. All of you contractors out there, please share it. We'd love it if you could do that, because it goes a long way. So with that being said, Nate, what's this show about before we get started here?
Yes, sir. So TCS Podcast, we highlight 3 different style episodes. One is where I'm flipping you guys off.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
One is where we highlight a high-level individual and we interview him on his journey through the business. 2 is where we go through the construction news and see how it affects you, the contractor, and you also the consumer of a construction product. And 3 is where we do a deep dive into a specific topic. And that is what we're doing today. We're going to dive into marketing.
Great topic, marketing. And a lot of contractors, believe it or not, struggle with this. They struggle pretty bad with it. And that's why Nate and I wanted to talk about it, kind of talk about what we've done, how we've gone about it. Nate's doing a really, really good job at the video end of it. And I mean, you're putting out a video a day, soon to be multiple videos a day. It's working. We were just talking before the show. You've had a few videos go viral, 500,000 plus views on some of your videos, which is insane. So we're going to have to get into that. We're going to get into how we went about it, because, you know, there's a lot of different things you can do as a builder for marketing, but I think the most important in this day and age is video presence, online presence. So that's where we're going to start. Building an online presence is a huge thing, and it all starts, obviously we know where it starts, and that's with your website. So I wanted to get into the website a little bit, because a lot of builders out there have pretty shitty websites. I'm not gonna
ghetto.
Yeah, old one page. You go on there, it's got a couple little tabs on top. You click on the tabs and it says that error message, HTTP error, that you can't even get to the next page because they haven't updated in 15 years. That needs to change, guys. And us personally, we've probably updated our website about 4 or 5 times within the last, I don't even know, 5 years, maybe 6 years. We're constantly trying to update it to make it more modern, easier, user-friendly for people to see what we do. That's what a website is. And then also you kind of post your online content on there too, so people have another avenue to find you and see what you do as well. Nate, what's your thoughts on having a good website?
Yeah, I can't talk too much. My website's down right now on this topic.
So Nate's one of those guys without the website.
No, ours is a beautiful site and easy to navigate. A lot of call to actions. It's just down currently because we're switching companies.
So you're updating everything too, and I got to send you the company I use. We talked about that. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's kind of certain things go out the window. And that's why when you get busy, right? You're like, oh, website, that's not that important right now. Boom. And that's kind of where I'm at. But lucky for me, I have all these other avenues, right? We're going to go through a list of like, let me see here, like 13 different areas that you can be marketing. And I have 80% of them nailed down. So guess what? I can miss the other 20% because I'm covered in so many other bases. So that's a good little pointer there as well.
well,
You can get away.
here on the TCP, we like to go 100%, Nate. 100%
Yeah,
all
well,
in.
you know what? You get as close as you can get sometimes. Shit,
But
I'm
I
tired.
could, yeah. I can't stress enough though the importance of an actual website though too, and Nate knows this as well, is it is kind of the focal point of your operation nowadays. I mean, you're not passing out brochures, you're not, I mean, here and there somebody will come in our office and ask for a brochure, but it's your online presence, it's your digital brochure, your digital footprint is right there. That's your primary thing you should be focusing on. And then we go into your SEO, your search engine optimization, which all this is doing more articles, stuff like that. So you're building a keyword presence online, which you can also do this when you do video and social media content and so on too. But SEO is very important because right now, if you search Bill Reiman or if you search Nate Swink, there's a lot of stuff going to pop up about us. There's a few other Bill Rymans in the world out there. There's probably
Some
a
of
few
the
other.
disclaimer, some of the articles might be mugshots, so
That is
don't do
true.
that, please.
That is true. That is true. Don't search too deep. You might find a mugshot of Nate and I, but at the top of the list, you'll find the good stuff, the stuff you're going to want to watch. But all that stuff goes into your SEO, goes into your online presence, which leads people back to what you do, which is your website, where they can go and find your business, call your business, and so on. So search engine optimization is a very important thing. And that's where we go into our next thing, like what I just brushed on, the most important, in my opinion, because this is the biggest online presence these days, social media. And that has to do with Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, all the big brands that you need to be on all the time as much as possible. And Nate is doing a very good job at this as we speak. So, Nate, I want to talk to you about this a little bit, just because a lot of the listeners out there, they don't really have a social media presence, or they have somebody doing it for them, posting those stagnant, picture posts or whatever that are BS. You hopped into video probably a little over a year ago and you went all in.
Yeah, about
Now,
14 months ago.
and you've done a video each day for 14 months straight, right?
Yeah, someday. You know what? I actually missed like 2 weeks, I think, where we paused.
Yeah.
And
2 weeks
this
out of
is
14, 14 months.
this is actually a good little hit for people, right? Some of you guys can find a golden nugget up in this advice right here.
Give them the nug,
So
Nate.
we needed to cut back certain spending in the business because we have a lot of attorney fees right now as we're negotiating our contract with the union. And I'm looking at things. I'm like, all right, I think I spend like $5,000 on all my social media stuff because I have a whole team that helps do it. I'm like, all right, I got to cut back on this. 2 weeks later, like I'm feeling totally convicted. Like, dude, you're going through quote unquote a little tough time or whatever, and you're cutting back, you're contracting. You're contracting instead of expanding through the tough time. So I was like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. Contracting when I should be just pushing harder. So I felt convicted, and boom, now we're doing more media than ever. But the point of the story is during tough times, don't contract, expand, because then you come out of the tough time even bigger, better, and stronger. So I had to share that one because that was a pivotal.
Yeah, I want to with you though. Let's go from the beginning here. Like you jumped into video, and you went all out on it, and you didn't stop. But a lot of people, the biggest thing with going into video is that why people don't is fear. So talk a little bit about how you overcame the fear of doing video, because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I was the same way. Like when I first started, I don't even know. It took me like 10 takes to finally post something. I was like, all right, let's redo it. Let's redo it. We kept doing that because I wasn't comfortable.
Oh,
And
I do
finally
that. Yeah.
I just started putting it out. So with you, like, how'd you overcome the fear of it?
Honestly, I said I was going to do it for ever since I met Brian Hess. It's like, oh yeah, I got to do this, got to do this. And it was the pivotal moment was at an event. I think it was the, what year would that have been? The 22 winter event, right? I think that was in Marco Island.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
I was graced with your presence for the first time.
Oh.
Love at first sight.
So I think that was the event where I was just kind of like, enough's enough, shit, or get off the pot. And I came home and figured it out. And I didn't ever start doing it on my own. Like, hey, I'm Nate. Let me record myself and edit it and post it. It's like, dude, I don't have time for that. So that's the other thing. Either hire a service or build yourself a team. Building a team is a little more difficult because you got to search for people. It's like you're running another little company almost. You're managing people. Whereas hiring a service, it's more turnkey. You pay X amount a month. And actually, that's a you join TCS. They have a company in TCS called Top Contractor Media. So that's kind of a full service deal. Or you can have your own people. I prefer my own people because I like to move things around quicker and just have that flexibility. But it all just depends on how much time you have. As far as getting over the fear of doing it, as your brand grows, you're going to get insane amount of hate. I have some videos right now that have, like Bill was saying, over 500,000 views on a couple of them just in the last 2 weeks. 2 of them went viral. I got like tons of hate in there and tons of love, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care about the hate, and I really don't care about the love either. I'm just doing it because I'm trying to build my influence. But I know
So go backtrack a little bit though. What about on your first video? How many times did it take you to finally launch that very first video?
A few. Yeah. We used to probably get like 5 pieces of content or 10
And you
in.
just said finally, you said screw it, put it out there, and
Yeah.
let's
And
roll with it, right?
now we get about 30 pieces of content in 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we try to get a couple different locations so it looks fresh.
Yeah, so the consistency over time has gotten rid of the fear to where you're just like, boom, let's roll. Let's
Yeah,
rip
it's
this.
natural, right? You get naturally comfortable in front of the camera. And now in my business, it's not optional. If you're an employee of Swink's Welding, guess what? Your face is going to be on to social media. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, go find somewhere else to work because we're cutting edge. We have to. My people, my audience my customers, they want to see who they're working with, and they don't want to only see me. Who cares about me? They want to see the real people doing the work. So yeah, now it's fun to watch my guy Connor come in and record all my guys and people in the office and watch them be nervous at first, and then within a couple months now they're like on the camera acting like Tom Cruise and whatnot. It's like, yeah, there you go. So, that's another thing. Make sure that it's not, build it into your culture, right? Like, we're innovative. Well, this is part of innovation. Being on camera, putting out videos, that's innovation. So that's non-negotiable. If you work for me, you're doing it.
Yeah, Nate and I are sticking on this topic of video because it probably is, out of all these things that we have on this list today, it's probably the most critical that everybody should be doing, especially in the construction industry. Because Nate, we've talked about this on a past episode. There's very little, if any, in your town doing video. You're probably the only one. There's very little, if any, doing video in my town, especially on the builder end. I'm the only one doing. I get compliments from other builders. I get compliments from subcontractors that see my stuff, who talk with other builders, and all these other builders are going to my subs saying, that use those same subcontractors, saying, "How's he doing this?" Well, if
It's
you
pretty
don't
easy.
want to, yeah, well, if you don't want to hire a team, I wanted to go into that a little bit too. If you don't want to hire a team and you can't afford to get started, use your phone. Simple thing. Get a tripod. Put it on a tripod if you're uncomfortable with somebody else recording. The people that have filmed me, I'm comfortable with. My wife's one of them. She's been filming me for the past, I don't even know, 3 years with my cell phone, and I
That
got a
sounded
wireless.
kind of dirty there, bro, the way you said that. Bill's
Yeah.
wife's been filming him for 3 years. Ooh.
Ooh. But I've had, I have a wireless mic, and basically we roll. That's it. But going into the fear part too, you have to just do it. I mean, if you don't ever do it, you're never going to do it. It's plain and simple. Just do the first video. You're gonna judge yourself more than ever. We all did. We're all gonna critique. We're our own worst enemy, hands down. More than anybody else is gonna judge you. You're gonna get those friends along the way that are like, "Oh yeah, a cool video, man," and you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, hey man." You blur out those middle fingers.
Kiss
Sorry.
my ass.
Yeah, kiss my ass pretty much.
Right.
I had it with my podcast too. I had friends listening to my podcast, joking around about it, and then my podcast became a hit. So and I did it for 4 years too. And it's just like, those friends. You're gonna have those friends that sit there that are doing nothing with their lives, that are gonna talk crap about you. Then you're gonna have your other friends that are gonna be cheering you on. And then as you get more popular on your video content, like Nate, if you go viral, you have 10,000 likes and a bunch of comments on a video, you're always going to get the hate, but you just got to ignore it. That's just part of this world. It's part
Yeah,
of
that's when
society.
the more hate you get, probably the better
You're
you
doing right.
do,
You're doing something
honestly.
right. The more hate you get,
Yeah.
that means you're doing something good. Keep going. Plain and simple, right?
Yeah, and Bill's done some crazy stuff on social media. You did a couple where you ended up selling a house and made what, a few $100,000 of your
Yeah.
personal income just from some videos?
Yeah. I mean, I put on an American flag suit and played Born in the USA, stood up on a roof with an American flag, and made it a whole American themed video. The video launched on Memorial Day weekend, and sold the house. So, I've done some crazy videos. I've done some just fun, regular, non crazy videos. It's just do it. I mean, like Nate, your stuff's about teaching people. You're giving knowledge on how you're building your business. You're following along with your journey. That's what people want to see. They want to see your journey. They want to see what you do. Like stuff I do, like building houses. There's so many things that I know of that a lot of people don't know of. And at first I was like, how do you not know about this stuff? But people don't know that, how spray foam works, or how tile is installed, or how the plumbers do the roughs and all these different things. So I started a how it's built series, and that's been like, I have a stucco video on YouTube of them applying stucco siding, and that video's blown up. I get phone calls on that video all the time of people asking me about stucco from around the state. So
No
it's
kidding.
crazy, yeah.
Bill
And
the stucco master.
but it's these things, these little things that you think as a contractor that are little or big to other people. You know, what you do is amazing to other people, whether you're freaking digging ditches, excavating, or freaking paving roads or welding. Like I told Nate needs to do more welding content. I want to see some sparks and some fire, you know, because I guarantee those videos would be a hit too. People want to see that badass stuff. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's just they want to see what you do. So get behind the camera, get over the fear, just launch your first one. I'm telling you, once you just launch the first one, it's like boom, keep going. And what Nate said too, it's just if you need to hire somebody to push you and just launch it for you, do that as well.
Yeah, just make sure, and we've spent a lot of time on this topic, but make sure you have a system of how you do it all. Treat
Yep.
this just like another avenue in your business and build out a system. Otherwise, it will drain a lot of your energy and your time and take away from your business. This should be something that takes minimal time a week that adds tremendous, you get like a huge ROI back on the time, you know? So
Yeah.
reach out to us if you have questions. We're
Yeah,
not hard to find.
if you guys have questions about video, reach out to us. Like I said, Nate and I have been doing video. I'm not as consistent with it, I'll admit, as Nate is. Like I do a few a week. Nate does every day. So if you guys want any kind of information, just reach out to us on it. The next one, too, one of the probably the second most important, and I'm starting to figure this out because I get calls on these, is Google business reviews or establishing a Google My Business page. Guys, people are searching the internet. They're searching for every type of contractor you can imagine. If you don't have an online Google presence, reviews are important. I use myself as an example all the time. When I search for something, I was searching for a trademark patent attorney yesterday, and I was looking at reviews first when I was searching for that attorney.
Is
There's
that
not.
after you and I talked about
Yeah, it actually was. Because actually, if you watch that episode, they cut that part out too.
Oh, they
So
did?
yeah, because of you. Because Brian
That's
actually
good.
called me about it too. He's like, "Yeah, you should probably get on that." So,
You're
so
welcome.
yeah, thanks, Nate. Um, so anyway, there's Google reviews, the importance of them. I mean, if you guys think about yourselves, most people, when you're searching for help, if you're searching for a handyman, you're searching for anything, cleaning crew or whatever.
Place to eat.
There you go.
Anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anything, yeah.
it's important. I mean, it's Google online presence with reviews, 5-star reviews goes such a long way because you see a guy with a 1-star, you're probably not going to call him, or with no reviews too. It's kind of weird this day and age as well.
Yep.
What do you think on that, Nate?
No, it's good. And it feels good too when you can take your business and check your Google reviews
Mm-hmm.
and you got like 10 5 stars and your competition has like 2 5
Yep.
stars. And then you can go to social media and see how you're killing it on there and your competition is sucking ass on there. And then you can go to all these different areas and you're like, dude, there's half a dozen areas and I'm killing it in all of them. My competition is sucking. Long term, how's that going to look, right? You're going to put them out. So
Yeah, I wanted to get into these a little bit too because people are like, well, I never get reviews. How do you get reviews? You know, stuff like that. Well, you got to ask. Let's start there. Yeah, that's pretty common sense. You got to ask for a review. Well, if you got a customer that you worked for, why don't you just give them a call, pick up the phone, say, hey, how did everything go? Ask, you know, oh, it went great. It was great working with you. Hey, you mind leaving me a review on Google real quick? I can text you this link. It'll direct you right to our Google page or on the review page. Just give me a 5-star real quick, write something out. You know, just make it as easy as possible. Send them the direct links. QR codes are another thing you can create now and do a QR code where you can scan if you're in person. Be like, hey, scan the QR, boom, put it, goes on their phone. They can write it right in front of you. You hover over them and pressure them into it. That's another one as well. No, I'm just joking. But you can do personal follow-up to like writing handwritten letters with the QR code on the handwritten letter as well. So at the bottom of the letter, say, scan this with your phone camera and write me a review. Boom, I just blew you guys' mind with that one. That's a definitely a go-to there, because handwritten letters.
What I also do, this is kind of off, but it's same marketing, customer experiences marketing. In our thank you letters, on the back of it, it has a QR code you scan, and it's anonymous customer survey, feedback survey. Good. So like it doesn't say their name, anything, and they rate us and put how can we improve? Like we put that on there. How can we improve? Because you want to get that feedback. Even if it's 5-star, they might still have something on how you can improve.
Well, see, that goes into the next thing too, is with the feedback, though. If you get positive feedback, that means that customer loves working with you, right? So you directly call them, after you receive that positive feedback. You already know they were happy. You give them a call and say, hey, man, it was great working with you, this and that. Hey, you just mind dropping a quick review for us? You just on Google, it'll take you 1 minute. I really appreciate it. Goes a long way for our business. Something like that, because you already know there's a positive match right there too. So what you're doing is actually really smart, because if they rate you a negative one, they shit on, they're like, this guy sucked, this and that. You're probably not going to be like, hey, John, write me a review real quick, after you said I sucked. So, right. So,
no, but I like, so I was in a breakout room with Keith Sr. yesterday, and he said in those situations too, where there's a missed expectation, he redirects the client and says, hey, how do we get back to 5 stars? How do we get your experience back to a 5-star experience? And then he lets the customer tell them the answer. And if the customer says, well, I want a 10% discount, that'll get me back, or I need you to answer the phone quicker. Okay, you got it. Thank you. Right? So kind of reverse psychology there. You don't know. That's the thing. Sometimes it's better to shut up and listen when you're dealing with problems than keep talking and talking and talking, because you're just going to piss somebody off more.
That's true. That's true. I think that's one of the most difficult things people have in business is they don't listen. They just talk. They talk too much too. But another thing, last thing on the review thing, what we really like to do, and it happens most of the time, is create kind of a strong bond, friendship. I mean, we're with the people that we're with for a couple of years. I mean, so as we're building them these houses, we have to form those strong relationships along the way. It becomes friendships. I mean, I go to lunch with them when they're in town. We go to dinner together. There's just, you build those bonds with the customer and that trust as well, to where I can reach out to those customers at any time and be like, hey, you mind real quick just doing a review, and shoot them a link and a text, and boom, they do it. So that's another thing with strategy, just building relationships is key to everything in business, but also it'll go a long way with kind of your online presence and review as well. If they do a video, they're probably more likely to do a video review as well too, which those video testimonials are huge as well. And the next thing we had was online advertising. I don't do much online advertising anymore. I'm sure kind of Nate's the same way. I mean, we have Google ads that we've ran for years, just to kind of boost us on the top of Google. But other than that, I'm not really pushing Facebook ads or Instagram. I know, Nate, you started doing this. I might in the future, when I get my videographer and video team together, which I'm working on now, with a baby on the way. I'm tired of editing all my stuff myself. So, what are you doing on the kind of pay-per-click or?
Yeah, so on the personal, and so pay-per-click, like Google ads, we're not doing any of that. To be honest, I would rather go through and almost cold call. That's what I like to do when I'm resorting to scouting out and hunting. I like to, when I'm hunting for a new client, I'm going on Google. I'm looking at custom home builders. I'm checking their website. Are they up to date? Are they innovative? If they're not, then we're probably going to butt heads, because with the technology we want to use or systems we want to put in place to make their life easier, they're going to combat them because they're old school, right? So I go through and I'll find these guys, and then I'll cold call them and then email them a capability statement or whatever, and there you go. So I don't really use too much pay-per-click. I'd rather specifically hunt for my exact customer that I want, my ideal customer. And then as far as social media ads, I am doing some paid ads, boosting reels, boosting things on the personal and the business, because I know I need to build more brand relevance, in that area. Another thing I like too with boosting ads on social media and pay-per-click, if you really want to get your name more in a certain area, you can target that area, right? So we're trying to get big in Malibu. So a lot of my personal brand and my business brand, I just blanket it right over Malibu. Boom. $1,000 right there. Boom. Just, I want everybody in Malibu to know who I am. The pizza guy, I want everybody to know. Now I want some of that Malibu pizza. That's good stuff.
Well, another thing, going off of what you just said too, you can, and that's what people don't understand with social media ads and so on too. If you want to target high-end areas too, you can do it, or you can target areas like an airport, for example, like where private planes fly in, so on too. I've actually thought about doing this. So I don't really want to give this one away for maybe if a local builder listens, but
They won't do it, bro. That's the
yeah,
thing.
that's true.
You
That's
give away
true.
gold all the time. Half the people don't do it. No,
Yeah, that's
90% of
true.
them don't do it.
I mean, if you targeted a high-end airport where it's just private planes flying in and out, for example, like Naples Airport where I'm at, you just target that zone. So people are on their phones, or they're always on their phones when they're in the airport too, and your ad's popping up as a builder, as a realtor too. Boom, it's popping up, popping up. That right there, your presence is going to be built right there because you get a lot of money flying into that area too. So that's a good strategy as well. But I wanted to go on what you said too. So on my side of things, obviously we're hiring subcontractors, right? And I just thought about this as you were talking. One thing I like to look for, and this goes back to your website presence too. If you're a new subcontractor and you have a crappy website, we're probably not going to work with you. Or if you have no website at all, probably not going to work with you. But if you got a website that's clean, and especially if it's got like core values on it and you have some kind of culture mission statement behind you too, now that is intriguing to me. That's right there is what is going to stand out for me as a builder if I'm looking for a new subcontractor. So you subcontractors out there that are trying to get builders, that's one thing you should be doing too, is having because that's what I personally do. I'm just going from my perspective as a luxury builder. If I'm looking for a new sub and I'm searching online, that goes a long way too. So just wanted to brush on that off of what you said, Nate.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we brushed on. We'll get a little bit more into video marketing towards the end, but email marketing, I want to go into this because email marketing still is really important. I was doing it for a while. I've kind of slowed down with it because, my content and everything with me editing, I was burning myself out. But I would do like a MailChimp thing every month, just sending out my videos on, a nice email to all the past clients that we had, kind of showcasing what we got going on so clients could see it too. It went a long way. It would drive traffic to my other social media platforms as well. So that's something you can think about doing, is being in somebody's email. And obviously, if you've established a relationship with them on email, your email should go into their main inbox. So you're just putting more of your presence in their inbox too. And there's probably not a lot of contractors doing a monthly email too, talking about the markets, where things are going, and so on and so on. So highly suggest, if you can, email marketing is huge because you can kind of regurgitate all that content that you've already done, throw it into a big email and blast it out, and that's going to get more eyes on that past content as well. So it's just recycling everything. and it doesn't take that long to do. You just have to kind of MailChimp's the one I go to. Super easy to use.
Yeah, for sure. You can also do, this sounds really old school, but mailers, like just a straight up mailer. I've done those, and I've turned them into a little more, new age by putting a QR code, like a meet the owner QR code. So you get a letter, QR code, boom, scan it. There's a video of me talking. And I've done $1.4 million of work off of mailers this year. Yeah,
go into that a little more. What is it? What are you
cost
doing?
me like $1,500 to send the mailers, and I did 1.4 million.
That's crazy.
At a 13% net margin, so
you're just
pretty good ROI.
They're just scanning your QR on there, and then your videos popping up of you just talking about the company, or
yeah, and then there's verbiage on it too. Like, this is specifically targeting a certain market. That's another thing. Your marketing strategy is going to change depending on the market you're doing, right? If I'm targeting HOAs, I can easily send a letter, and they're more likely going to open it than throw it away because it's an HOA office, and they probably struggle with getting good qualified subcontractors. So it says like, dear future HOA partner, here's why it's important to partner with a reputable steel contractor for your wrought iron repairs, or whatever it is, and then you have some verbiage, and then you give them some like information as far as our process, or why it's important for them to do it a certain way and how it helps them and saves them money, and then a QR code that says meet the owner, and then boom, they can scan it.
Didn't think you had that in you, Nate. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
you're a smart guy.
Saved my business too, man. We were in the red deep in the beginning of the year, and I rolled that out, and we got a lot of sales quick just from that. So you got to be able to hit things a couple different ways.
So I'm going to ask you the questions that most people are probably thinking, and because they don't want to do the research themselves. Where do you get the QR codes, Nate? That's probably one of the questions. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. So I just did a QR code creator, and I forget how much it is a month, $100. I mean, a year, $100 a year, or might have been free. I don't know. And yeah, that's it.
And then next question, what was I thinking here? Where do you get the QR codes? And then the verbiage too. What are you doing for your verbiage? I was going to say you can go on ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT. I wrote some of it, and then some of the like facts of like, here's why it's important for an HOA to partner with a reputable steel contractor. Literally type that into ChatGPT and hit enter, and it'll give you some good shit. Just copy and paste.
Yeah, and what people utilize that resource, because I mean everybody's like, oh, AI, it's so bad, this and that, but utilize AI for those things too, because it saves you time. That's what that's about too. And we're not going to get into ChatGPT. Maybe we'll do a future episode on how contractors can utilize that. That's actually a good idea right there, utilizing ChatGPT for contractors. But utilize that research. I mean, if you guys write something out, you type it out, you throw it in a ChatGPT, it's going to make it sound very smart, and sometimes too smart. So you can kind of tell ChatGPT.
Creepy.
Yeah, really creepily smart. So you could actually type right after it sends you that, say, dumb this down, and it'll actually kind of lower. Yeah, I don't want to call it dumb, but it'll actually make it.
All your marketing language should actually be written to a 10th, or is it 10th grade? It's not 10th grade. Anyway, scratch that. I forget. I think it's a 5th grade reading level is what it is.
Yeah, and ChatGPT ain't doing 5th grade.
There's a certain reading level that you should do all your marketing at because it's more attractive to the human brain. And I believe it's 5th grade, but you should just Google it because I could be totally off.
Yeah, no, I agree with you too. So if you're writing descriptions about stuff, so on, don't just use what ChatGPT puts out there all the time. You can kind of write it yourself. It'll give you an idea rewrite it yourself to something else.
Yeah, you'll sound like what's that British guy that Brian went and his wife went and saw in Wyoming?
Oh yeah. I forget.
Yeah, you'll sound like him, the scholar guy.
Yeah. I always what is his name? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's a huge resource you all should be using. And what Nate just said about the letters and writing out letters with QR codes too, huge thing right there. So great information right there, Nate, as well. Y'all can do referral programs. We're not going to get too deep into this too, but obviously if you have satisfied clients, this goes back to what Nate said, what doing, maybe sending out a QR code so they can review or kind of send you feedback. And if those people are super happy, reach out to them. Like, once again, ask them, hey, can you do a review? And if you have any friends or family, feel free to refer them to us. That goes a long way for our business. We've had a lot of referrals on builds. We have one as recently, and it's a 5,200 square foot project. And this was a referral off of some clients that we just built for a couple of years ago that I actually met during a real estate deal that I did too. So, referrals go a long way. It's a huge thing too. Just satisfy your clients, build long relationships with them, and they're going to send people your way. That's one of your top ways of business as well. Nate's nodding his head, so he agrees. All right, we'll go.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll go to the next thing is vehicle branding. Obviously, this is the simplest thing. Put your name on your vehicle, plain and simple, so people know who you are and what you do. The more vehicles you have on the road with your brand on them, more people are going to see you, the more exposure you have. I actually did this with our company. My dad, old school, was a big believer. He just didn't like having branded vehicles. He did at first, but as he got older, he kind of was like, I don't need people. I don't need to. I don't need to have my name on my truck or blah blah blah. We switched that. Now we got the RK Reiman names on all of our work vehicles, and it goes a long way. Just like having signs up too on your job sites goes a long way. People see who you are. I get that all the time. You guys got a lot of signs up. Must be doing a good job. Also, people compliment our job sites, how clean they are. We're sticklers on that as well too. So branding in any kind of form, showing who you are, goes a long way as well. And then another thing, networking. Build your network. I spoke on this one. I think it might have been on our past episode, but networking with realtors is one of the biggest things that I do. I just joined a luxury brokerage. I just did a video on that. And the reason I made the move after 12 years is I felt it was right, on top of they're the number one luxury brand in our area. We are a luxury builder, striving to be the number one luxury builder in the whole county and eventually the whole state. So what move did I make? Well, I'm with one of the top luxury brands in the whole state of Florida right now. So getting around, getting my seat at the table with those high-end realtors, getting in the rooms with them, networking with them, it's going to go a long way, and it's going to kind of drive us towards that vision that we had too. So I'm a big believer on the networking end and just building those relationships as much as possible so other people talk about you as well. What you got, Nate?
Sorry, bro. That yawn wasn't because you were boring me.
Nate's on California time for those of you guys watching this video. So he was up at 6 a.m. doing this podcast this morning. So,
which isn't that early, but I like getting up a little later and working late.
Yeah.
Especially because my wife's pregnant right now. Like when I'm trying to get up, I feel like her tiredness is like keeping me there. I don't know.
I'm feeling that now too. It's a weird thing.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It is kind of like you get more tired. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel tired all the time. I've been going to bed earlier too. It's been kind of weird.
I don't know. I need to get on the tee, man. I need to get that energy going.
What you got on networking?
So networking. Yeah, engage with local business associations. Yeah, I'm all for all that. Yeah.
All right. Nate's ready for bed towards the end of the
uh,
podcast here.
well, networking's good, bro. It's a no-brainer for me. It's like join company events, right? And as your business is getting to a certain level, you should start getting somewhat politically involved, right? You should know who the governor is. You should know who your mayor is. You should get into as much of that as you can, so that if you need if you need some pull, you got some pull. You know what I mean? And you're more relevant. You know.
Yeah, for
So,
real, for sure.
and that all comes into networking.
And that gets into local sponsorships and community engagement, like Nate just talked about. To be involved in the community, get involved in with local sports teams, local clubs, local charities, stuff like that. That's going to get you guys out there as well. But I mean, we're rolling along on this one, so we are going to wrap this one up. Nate, any last final words?
Oh, that's it, man. Just never miss a good opportunity to do marketing too, right? Like you could just shoot a quick video, throw it up on social media. Those do really well. Just like random. I don't even edit them. I threw one up yesterday. And that's why I was late. We were supposed to record this yesterday because I'm at a job site. And I'm like, you know what? This was interesting how we did this. Let's not miss an opportunity to throw out some marketing. And try to tie your customers to the marketing as well. If they're okay with it, tag their brand into it, So, yeah,
Love that.
good stuff. And share the podcast, subscribe. Don't be a bozo. Thank you
no
for
bozos,
all the
no
love.
shows, no bozos. That's what this show's all about. But
That's
yeah,
it.
I mean, video, get behind a camera. That's my last words of advice. Get behind a camera. Just do it. Stop talking about it. Most of you guys listening to this show probably won't do it. I hate to say it, but that's not a good move if that's what you're gonna do. I mean, just you need to do it no matter what age you are. Just make the move. It's going to go a long way. It's going to drive your business. Nate's having a lot of success from his content. I have personally as well. I've done a lot of deals off of it. So just continue to do it. Be consistent. And that's the words of advice for today. So all you guys listening, you know the routine. Like, share, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Leave comments on YouTube too. We will answer any questions that you all have. We appreciate you all. We'll see you on the next episode.